over the past few years I've managed to get a decent little setup going here, but I've never got to the point, like musically speaking, where I felt confident enough to make something from scratch that was my own. I just thought I wasn't good enough to do it, but I'm going to force myself to change that today. I've set myself this challenge of making something in the style of Hans Zimmer, but not a Hans Zimmer song. I can't just copy people like in the past. I'm going to do a Hans Zimmer style song within the next 7 days. I don't know how long it's going to be. I guess that depends like how well it's going. It could be 20 seconds long, but hopefully it'll be a bit longer and a bit more complex. At the moment, I really don't know much, but I know that Hans Zimmer is famous for writing in the key of D, so I've learnt the notes and chords that go along with that, which is a good place to start. So I'll definitely be doing it in the key of D. I know that. It's all going to be sort of in the box stuff, using Ableton. I've got a few plugins, the Spitfire audio ones. I can't afford their like £700 libraries and up, but I've just got some of like the cheap 30 quid originals. Like I've got the cinematic percussion, the intimate strings, and I'm also going to be using just labs, and I've also got the Dark Star one by Spitfire Audio, and I think that should give me a good basis to do it, because they are decent little plugins for the price, and obviously labs is free, so I'm going to see what I can do with these things. I'll give you a little test of what they sound like now, but the challenge starts now, because by the end of next weekend I've got to have something ready, and whether it's good or bad, you're going to hear it at the end of this video. So there's a really specific sort of Hans Zimmer style I want to go for, and it's like the pit scene in Dark Knight Rises, and also the docking scene in Interstellar, where the character's got to take a risky move, but it's a really necessary move, and there's a sort of build up to a climax, and then it all kind of explodes and then sort of dies down afterwards. So that's the sort of thing I'm going for. I'm thinking I want it to be pretty like Dark Knight ostinato based, where there's a repeating pattern, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do a repeating pattern that somehow builds up tension to the main bit at the end. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that right now, but that's the plan. I'm thinking maybe kind of low strings at the bottom end of the mix, and then sort of a violin or something high pitched like that, a repeating ostinato pattern with that. So that's the plan so far. And then if we just go into the plugins here, I'll just do a quick little show of these. So first of all, these, well, here's the percussion. It sounds pretty cool. You can get a sort of idea of the kind of, underlying drum beat that I want. It won't be like that, I don't imagine, but I'm just kind of spitballing ideas at the moment, and it's sounding pretty cool so far to me. And the main bit for me is the strings, and if we just give this a little listen, these sound really cool, I think, for the price. I can't hear what I'm playing, by the way, so I just pressed anything then. So that's the strings, and they'll be the main part, and that's the thing I'm always interested in cinematic music, is the strings rather than the other things. As you can hear here, we've got this Dark Star one. This will just add a bit of atmosphere, I'm hoping. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. There's loads of cool sounds in there, so I'll find something. And then the brass here will be coming from the BBC Symphony Orchestra. This is like the free version of it though, but there's still some pretty cool like horn sounds and stuff like that. As you can see, it's got all sorts of things. And then a very important part is the piano, and with that we're going to be using good old Labs, which is a free plugin. So that's what I'm going to be working with. I'm still pretty clueless on what I'm going to exactly go for, but how I'm going to achieve it, but I was watching a lot of videos last night and stuff, and I feel like I've learned a lot about specifically the brass side of things with Hans Zimmer, and I'm hoping I can put it into practice, but it's going to be difficult. But I better get back to work on it, or else the performance at the end is going to be awful. So I better get back to work. The first few days of the challenge were actually a struggle because I was doing a lot of research and note taking, but most of it was just too advanced for my level, so I had to take it back to basics and just try and enjoy the process and just experiment with sounds until I found something that sounded like Hans Zimmer. So I started this challenge on the weekend and it's now the next Friday, so I am running out of time and I'm going to show you how it's coming along. So there's not that much length on it, so as we stand I'm basically up to about this point where you can see almost bang on 1 minute. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to go on for, but it's kind of coming up to that climax bit at this point, so probably 2 minutes at most it'll be, but I'm glad it's not a 20-second track. I'm just going to go over a few of the sounds. So it started off as kind of like a Dark Knight Rises sound. It was sounding way too much like it, to the point where it was like a rip-off, so I brought in sort of an Interstellar vibe as well. So hopefully it's kind of like a nice merge of the two. And this is what I mean by the Interstellar sound, so hopefully it will sound like that to your ears as well as mine. So I don't want to give away too much of the track until the end, obviously, but I'm going to go through a few little bits here. So I do like how I've got that in early because you don't get this sort of idea that it's Dark Knight straight away. That will come later when the strings come in. So for the strings, it comes in here, and this is what I mean by the Dark Knight because it sounds the exact same chord progression. I was running out of time really and had to come up with some sort of chord progression, so I've had to go really basic with that, but I'm hoping sort of melodically it will be able to make up for it and make it a bit more interesting and less cliche. But that's where we're at with the strings, and there's going to be lots more strings scattered in around there, which you'll hear in the final one. There's some there, and then in terms of the Interstellar vibe, it comes in sort of here. If you've seen Interstellar, you'll know in No Time for Caution when that ticking sound comes in, and that like ticking clock sound to kind of build tension. And this string patch sounds like it here. I'm not sure if it's even meant to sound like that, but it does, and it sounds really cool. That definitely sounds like Interstellar to me in the No Time for Caution like docking scene. And also for the Interstellar thing, I've got this little not so great ostinato thing, but I'm hoping it'll sound okay when mixed with the other things. And to go with that, I've got an octave up the same pattern. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to hear that in the final mix, but it's kind of a cool sound, I guess. And in terms of percussion, so it's pretty simple as of right now, but I'm liking how it's coming along. So what I've ended up doing is going for this sort of these drum rolls that build up. And one thing I've figured out to do, which I'm not sure if this is a Hans Zimmer thing, but it's something I've picked up along the way, is I'm using these drum rolls as little transitions, so as it reaches the peak then more things will come in, like extra strings or brass or something like that. They sound pretty cool to me, and I've also got a little bit of, when the sort of Interstellar thing I was talking about comes in, we've got these little swells here. But they sound amazing to me. Like I was saying, the issue for me is that I'm kind of running out of time on it, so I don't want it to come to a climax and then be really like a letdown when it was going well, but I've got to stick to the time on this, otherwise I'll just be working on it forever and we'll just spend too much time on it. But that's how it's coming along so far. I finally have a general idea of like where I want to take it. It's took a long time. But I've learned so much along the way, and I'm really glad that I've done this, no matter how it turns out. And even if it's not the most like original piece in the end, I've learned a lot from this process. So I'm really glad that I've gone ahead with this, and next time you hear from me, the whole thing will be done. I'll just be giving some final thoughts before playing the actual thing. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to play it for you, so let's see how it goes. I better get back to work on this now. Okay, so it's been a few days now and I'm completely finished with the project. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 in terms of what I was hoping to achieve. So I'm quite happy with it, but there is a few areas that I'm not so happy with. Mainly the fact that I kind of ran out of time in terms of getting to that sort of big climax I was hoping to achieve and give it that real Hans Zimmer feel, but it still sounds okay. It just fizzles out a bit at the end. And also timing, because certain plugins will have like different attacks and stuff, so it was kind of sounding out of time certain bits, but hopefully it's still enjoyable to listen to. And also the mixing process, like trying to get sound levels okay and not overly like loud at certain points. But overall, I've got to say I'm happy with it for a first attempt at actually making anything. But let me know what you think of it when you listen to it now. If you do like it, give the video a like, and thanks for watching. Let's give it a listen.